Reason says you are in this room, that you have a certain amount of money and can have no more unless you make a physical effort to get it. But you would wish you had more, wouldn't you? Assume your wish through the sense of feeling. That assumption, subjectively appropriated and believed to be true, is faith. Can you believe in its reality? Knowing all things are possible to him who believes, can you persuade yourself that, although your reason and senses deny it, your assumption will make it so? Blake, in his wonderful Marriage of Heaven and Hell, said, "I dined with Isaiah and Ezekiel and asked, 'Does a strong persuasion that a thing is so make it so?' And Isaiah replied, 'All prophets believe it does, and in ages of imagination a firm persuasion moved mountains, but many today are not capable of a firm persuasion of anything.' Everything here was once only a desire, believed. This building, the clothes you wear, or the car you drive were first a desire, then believed into being. Yes, I believe there is a man named Neville. He may work for you to aid the fulfillment of your desire, if you believe you have it. Many men can and will come to aid you, even without knowing they are doing it, if you believe. You do not have to persuade others to help you. All you need do is believe you are what you want to be, and then let the world, which is nothing more than yourself pushed out, go to work to make your assumption possible. I promise you, your desire will be fulfilled, for all things are possible to him who believes." The late Robert Frost said, "Our founding fathers did not believe in the future, they believed the future in." The most creative power in you is your power to believe a thing in. Our founding fathers did not believe that the passage of time would produce this country as they desired it. They wanted democracy, not a monarchy, and knew that sitting down and hoping it would come to pass wouldn't do it. They had to appropriate it, so they simply believed it in. How? By faith. They subjectively appropriated their desire. Let us say you would like to be in San Francisco now, but you don't have the time or the money to make the trip. What do? You ignore the present moment and subjectively appropriate your objective hope by sleeping in San Francisco tonight. As you lie on your bed, look at your world through the eyes of one who is sleeping in San Francisco. You may wake in the morning to find you are still physically in Los Angeles, but while you slept, changes were taking place which will compel you to make the journey. I tell you, you will always go physically to the subjective state you have appropriated. Remember, all things are possible to him who believes, and with God all things are possible. Man believes that God created the world and all within it, but he does not equate God with himself, the believer. But the Bible equates God, the creator of everything, with one who believes. And belief need not be restricted, but can go beyond the evidence of sense and reason. In the world, you must go on the outside to light your way. You may light a candle, a lamp, or use electricity. But one day you will turn within to discover that you are the light of the world. Then you will know you are God, the light of infinite love, infinite power, and infinite wisdom. You will expand into these states as you break the barriers of reason and senses. I challenge you to examine yourself. Are you holding to the state you desire to experience? Test yourself, and as you do, you are testing Christ, for he is God's power and wisdom. It doesn't cost anything to test him, so try it. We are told that imagination speaks to us through the medium of dreams and reveals himself in vision. One night, I was shown how to test myself. That night, I found myself in an enormous mansion on Fifth Avenue in New York City at the turn of the century. Everything that money could buy was in that mansion. Although I was invisible to the two generations who were present, I could hear everything they said. The older gentleman spoke, saying, "Father used to say while standing on an empty lot, 'I remember when this was just as empty lot.' Then he would describe the building he wanted to be there as though it were already solid and real. Then the scene shifted, and I saw the building, now complete, standing where only a moment before had been an empty lot. The grandfather was now standing next to his son and grandson and said, 'I remember when this was an empty lot.' This dream taught me a marvelous lesson. I was the grandfather, the son, and the grandson. It was up to me now to pass this knowledge on to other generations. While standing in a barren state, you can say, "I remember when this was barren." If it was barren, you are implying it is no longer so. Then you can, by exercising your inner sense of sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch, occupy the state and allow it to externalize itself for you. I tell you, it does not matter what you have or who you are in this world. All things are possible to you when you believe. You may believe in one or more of the 90-odd so-called saints which have now been demoted, but if you believe, they have served their purpose. Now, those who formerly believed in icons on the outside must turn around and learn to believe in themselves. It has taken a long time. For more than 1,000 years, men have believed this nonsense. You don't have to cover your head anymore to enter the church. So was it ever necessary? You don't have to believe in St. Christopher anymore. It never was necessary. But man, in his childlike state, could not believe in himself. So he created something with his human hands to believe in, and his belief produced itself. The icon did not do it for the individual. His belief did it for him. All things are possible to him who believes, and with God all things are possible. So is God not one with the believer? His name forever and forever is I Am. Do you not know that you are? Knowing that, are you not saying, I am? If your name is John, you must be aware of it before you can say, I am John. I say, I am Neville. I may not always say I am before I say Neville, but I am aware of being Neville before I say the word. I have given my awareness of being a name. It is Neville. I do not have to repeat the words I am to define what I am aware of, but my awareness is God, the believer, and there is no other God. Now all things exist in the human imagination, not just the good things, but all things. Listen to these words from the 32nd chapter of the book of Deuteronomy. See, I, even I am he, and there is no God besides me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal, and no one can deliver out of my hand. Who can kill but God? You may say, I killed him, but that is God's name. Your own wonderful human imagination has the power to kill and make alive, to wound and heal, and there is none that can deliver out of your hand, for there is no God besides your own wonderful human imagination. As you are seated here, you have the capacity to believe. You may believe in something stupid, but you believe, and your belief will make it work. The one I speak of as God is your mightier self, yet your slave, for purposes of his own. He waits on you as indifferently and as swiftly when your will is evil as when it is good. He does it by conjuring images of good and evil just as though they were real. Allowing you to imagine whatever you desire, he projects it upon this screen of space in order for you to experience it. You can move into it so naturally and so easily, you can forget the thoughtless moment when the seed was planted, and therefore do not recognize your own harvest. The being you really are is the God in Scripture who is your own wonderful human imagination. Can you leave this auditorium tonight in the deep conviction that you are what you want to be? Are you willing to assume its joys and woes? Your assumption is your subjective appropriation of an objective fact. That is faith, and without faith it is impossible to please him.